So before today's video, I do want to talk about Netflix. There is Netflix making a deal with Warren's brothers, and I'm pretty sure it's a fake deal. What do I mean by that is if you actually look at Netflix chart, it has been breaking all of its moving averages. Every single moving average and it's in a free fall. The triple Q's pumped up to around 625, almost tapped 630, and this company is still dropping. What I'm saying is this company can drop a lot more. And if you actually look at it, because I talk about it continuously over multiple videos, because a lot of companies, or mostly every company, but there's, I think, one Mega 7, I think it was Microsoft, but Netflix is coming into the break of its 2023 bull market of the indexes, which, Biden's bull market he had, because Trump has to have a reset in rates. So a lot of these companies are going to break their uptrend of 2.5 years. Now, I just want to warn you because I'm pretty sure they're going to take a grab and run or run and grab, whatever you want to call it, because there's a deal and there is some news I do talk, and I talk about all the time. I hate news. I hate how it defines, but there is something I think Netflix is trying to save its company. Now, if they do buy the Warren's brother, that's going to be awesome. I'll watch Game of Thrones left and right, or, a lot of their, I think HBO and HBO Max could go to Netflix. But the thing is, Netflix is in a free fall. The triple Qs has hit 630, 625. And if that starts to reject, you're going to see Netflix break. I'm telling you, it's going to break into the lower ends. And I'm pretty sure that's why they also did a stock split, because I talk about it once in a while also. Some companies like cheap prices on stocks. Even Musk says he doesn't like his stock price high. It doesn't really look good for companies. That's why, some companies like stock splits. Cheaper stocks means, lower income people can drag into it, and the people that have gambling addictions like that. Not gonna lie, I've seen a lot of friends be like that. But the thing is I really think the news off of Netflix and the Warren's brother is probably fake. So if you're one of those traders, this is why I'm making this video just from the beginning. And I will go over the Mega 7 and the support levels and what you should pay attention to. But I just kind of wanted to point out this because I know they're probably trying to draw in people before the drops and panic selling, so it's not too bad. So don't get caught in this hype because that deal might not pull through. The deal hasn't been pulling through. I don't think it's set yet. I think it's still a maybe. But I'm telling you, if the triple Qs starts to drop more, which it's going to, I know there's bulls that watch my channel, but here's the triple Qs. Here's Netflix. It's literally the same thing. Literally. So if the triple Q starts to make a rejection down to just their 2023 bull market, and by the way, a lot of these companies are hitting the bottom of their support of their bull market. What do you think the triple Qs is probably going to do within a couple of weeks? Sorry. I'm trying to hurry up and make this video because I'm ready to go out and drink, not going to lie. But either way, if the triple Qs makes a rejection down to its 2023 bull channel, right here, just say 545 off this 200 moving average, which it's on support also, you're going to see a break in Netflix. Now, there is a couple things I do also want to point out with this is, let's actually pull up the Mega 7. So let's actually go over the Mega 7 really quick because that's mainly the video, the main focus I wanted to make this video. It's not just gossip. I've been watching Netflix and the hype about it because honestly, I wouldn't mind watching HBO Max and HBO on Netflix. That'd be sick. But a lot of these companies like AVGO or Apple or, Amazon and all them, they're still in their 2023 bull market. A lot of them are about to break out of their 2023 bull market. I probably should update this channel, I'm not gonna lie. Let me update this really quick. But that's what I'm saying. If Netflix is on the support of its 2023 bull market and they reject from their high, it's going to start pushing it down. So just be very careful with that. But let's go over the charts for this coming Monday because, it's going to be super important because I'm pretty sure this is where our rejection is going to come. Now, let's start off with the triple Qs and I'll go over the Mega 7. And this is just from learning from years and years and years. The market likes to fade out people, and this is probably one of the most moves it does, okay? So you'll get a lot of lower highs in the market, especially the indexes or some of the Mega 7, and it'd be something like this where it'll look like you're about to go up more, like you're still in a bull trend. But what I've noticed over the years is when a trend breaks, and I'll show you the reason, the whole setup in a second, but when a trend breaks, it usually comes from the top and it will always bounce and come right back under from that old support. And that old support on a lot of these indexes, well, every index will come as a resistance. Now, what it really does, and it does it every single time. I want you to remember this video and remember me telling you this. it will always slowly uptick on this support. And you'll get some breakouts. You'll get, the market just slowly ticking up. I mean, guys, even in my comments, I remember when we hit the top or the bottom of the channel around 615 and people were still blowing, we're at 625. Guys, we're in 2025 now. $10 in the triple Qs is nothing. Like the biggest mistake a lot of people do trading is they'll be like, we went up 250 points today in the Nas. Guys, that's not even 1%. You guys need to start trading off of the percentages, how you go up and down every day. When you drop, you will drop 2%. When you slowly tick up, 0.3%, 0.3%, 0.3%, and you get that hype of, oh, we're going up, my gambling addiction is kicking in. And what it does, the market will do, is just wipe you off the board because you're not learning these percentages. But just be very careful because there's a lot of companies about to reject, and I'm going to go over those charts in a second. But one thing before we start this video is I want to point this out. On every single index, you have the 50, the 10, and the 20 moving average clustered together. When they are clustered together like that, I'll point it back when I called out the 400 and the triple Qs drop because, gosh, behold, I remember I got so much hate for a long time. When we had this and we were trading sideways forever, and I was warning people at around 530 in the triple Qs, 520, I'm like, hey, we're moving sideways. We're intertwining with the 10 and 20 moving average. If you don't understand moving averages, the 10 under the 20 moving average is a bear trend. When you have the 10 over the 20 moving average, that is a bullish trend. And when I was warning people, I'm like, hey, our next support, if we break this, you need to be very careful because we could hit 400 in the triple Qs. You can go look at my timestamp on my videos. We hit 400 on point. I remember that day. I was just like, man. And I still didn't short the market. And I was telling everyone, yeah, I felt ashamed. I know. But when we broke this, because all of the moving averages were clustered together. So you need to be very careful as we're right here because honestly, it's going to be super easy to break these. Now, our first support I really think we're going to go to is around 593. But I really do think we're going to break that also and probably test our 200 moving average. Why do I think that? Because you already have like Netflix. You already got NVDA about to drop to its 200 moving average. You already got Microsoft hitting its 200 moving average. Amazon already hit its 200 moving average. So that's a dead giveaway. The market's probably going to hit its 200 moving average. That's the oldest trick in the book when you finally understand the market. Now, let's go over the levels really quick because if you are shorting the market, this is going to be the video for you. If you're a bull and if you're trying to buy support, say if I say, hey, we're probably going to hit that 100 moving average, that could be the level where you want to look at. Not financial advice, educational purposes on the whole video, but let's go over it, right? So let's say if we actually do get the rejection off of this support or this old support, which will turn into resistance. If we break these moving averages, you are going to look at around a 590 in the triple Qs on the Sp500. Let's actually bring it up. If my internet is not slow today, it's been, I don't know why. I really don't know why. And let's actually draw this because I'm kind of behind. But Sp500, you can also see how the moving averages are all clustered together. The 100 moving average is going to be around 6,630. On the Nas 100, you are going to look at around 24,400. And notice also, cluster together, moving averages. On the Nas, just basic Nas, you are going to look at around 24,487. And look how I was already talking about it in the Discord. And if you haven't, come join the Discord. I'm in there all day. If you have a question about a stock, the link is in the description of the video. But just be very careful if you are trading SPY, which just remember SPY pumped really hard because it's got a lot of the Mega 7, especially like Apple. But you can see the consolidation of just slowly upticking. It's just going right off this old support, barely hanging on. But just be very careful if this breaks, you are going to look around a 657. So let's go over the charts really quick because this is going to be something that you really need to pay attention to. So what I talked about, I think last video and the video before that, if you haven't subbed the channel, and by the way, I make these videos for free, leave me a like. The three stocks the last week and a half that pumped the market was AVGO, Google, and Apple. And I was pointing out, I was saying, hey, these stocks are going to reject. They're most likely going to trade off with another stock. And that was Meta last Friday. Yeah. But you can see how they were trading off and they're sitting on that 10 moving average. So if the market decides to, just reject, say down to the 20 moving average, you're probably going to see AVGO probably hit around 664. And by the way, the levels I'm reading, you shouldn't be shorting past these levels. Now you can short a little bit or something like that because you might not have $400 in your account, but don't be aiming like, oh, I think Google is going to go to 205 on the 200 moving average tomorrow. Don't do that. If the triple Qs is probably going to say just reject to its 100 moving average, a lot of these stocks that are sitting on their 10 moving average, it's probably going to hit either the 50 or the 20 moving average. So aim for those, not financial advice. But Google will have its first support around 303, and there is the 2023 bull market channel. You will have a support around 292. Also on Apple. Apple did have its rejection. It is barely hanging on with this, like barely. I do have a feeling it's probably going to break that 20 moving average. So I would probably start looking at the 50 moving average around 265. And then also on Meta. Meta is at a huge rejection zone. Huge. So right now the triple Qs is around 625, right? If the triple Qs decides to say go to 610, you will see Meta probably hit around 639 or probably in the low end of around 622. Amazon. Oh man, I'm ready to slay tonight, eh? Amazon, it did bounce off that 20 moving average. This pump from the 200 moving average to here was that last pump we had all the way to 630, 625 in the triple Qs. It's already rejecting, sitting on its moving averages, about to break. If the triple Qs drops to around 610, you probably will see Amazon probably hit this old support or around 214. Tesla, I think it's at the top of its channel. Yeah, it's still at the top of its channel. This is a verified channel too, by the way. Verified. It's a 3-point channel. So just pointing that out. Tesla, this is around 625 in the triple Qs. If you get a drop to around 610 in the triple Qs, you will see around probably 430, something like that in Tesla. I did see a comment about a guy that was, hurting in Tesla. This is the chart for you. I'm just saying, if you see the triple Qs hits around probably 610 and it's not breaking its moving averages or anything like that, it's probably going to bounce with the chart I just showed you. I wouldn't, I think it was like December 19 puts or something like that. You probably want to re-enter or probably just take a loss. Just throwing that out there. Not financial advice. But NVDA, this is probably the one that you probably need to pay attention to closely. I'm telling you, it's either going to be Apple or NVDA that slaps the entire market. I'm telling you. And it's going to be funny and glorious, and market movement's going to come back because last week was so boring, not going to lie. The market just float. Oh my gosh, we hit 625. Yeah, we hit 619 the week before. That's crazy. $6. That's nuts. But NVDA, like I said, a lot of these companies, the Mega 7, 48% of the market. NVDA's 15% of the Nasdaq, 8% of the Sp500, 10% of the triple Qs, which it's probably higher now. I just haven't updated my charts. Sorry about that. But a lot of these companies are pushing down to its 200 moving average, just like Netflix. So if, say, you do get a rejection from 625 in the triple Qs, just a simple rejection, like say 610, it is going to break that 10 moving average, and there is no supports all the way down to around 154. And if you don't understand that what I just said, let me pull up Netflix really quick, and I'll show you its moving averages. It takes a second. I don't really trade Netflix, so it takes a second to find it. This is what it looks like when you break your moving averages and there's no supports. So as the 10 was catching up to it, look how Netflix broke all of its moving averages. There was no moving averages below it, just went straight down to the 200 moving average. You broke that 200 moving average, it was trying to stay alive. There's no supports under here, went down to main support of that 2023 bull market. And that's what NVDA is probably going to do. And that's probably where you're going to see a 545, 550 in the triple Qs coming our way. So just wanted to go over that. And AMD, completely manipulated stock by NVDA. Not financial advice. Don't ban me YouTube. But yeah, 630, 625 right now in the triple Qs. If it gets a rejection down to 610, you will probably see it around a 195 on AMD. Microsoft, man, Microsoft is still overpriced. I'm telling you. I honestly, I don't really believe a lot of the stock price on Microsoft. I don't even think it should be this big. Microsoft does do its work. I'm not going to lie. But there's just so many bigger companies. I'm surprised someone hasn't even bought out Microsoft by now. So let's actually look at this. It is sitting on its 10 moving average, barely hanging on like NVDA. If the market decides to have a simple rejection down to 610, you will probably see it around a 470. But if it breaks that 200 moving average, there is a next support of the 2023 bull market. Yeah, it's still in 2023. I would probably pay attention to if it does break that 200 moving average. Let's actually look around probably 445-ish. That's probably where you're going to pay attention to that. Now, Bitcoin also. Let's go over Bitcoin because, a lot of other traders, especially that last video I posted, blew up. blew up. Thank you guys for the likes and stuff, by the way. And subbing to the new channel, welcome. Now, with Bitcoin, since there's no viewers, I like to just say it, everything else. Crypto is breaking its 2023 bull market. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, because I know there's a lot of new traders out there and a lot of other YouTubers that don't talk about this, which like I said, every video, I'm surprised. I'm surprised there isn't other YouTubers telling you this. Crypto follows the market. Sometimes it moves ahead of the market. Sometimes, it does its own thing, but it will not move down to the 1 minute time frame. Don't sit there and be like, well, Bitcoin's down 2% today. Why aren't we moving today 2%? It's a overall. Now, sometimes it moves 2 weeks ahead. Sometimes it moves 2 weeks behind. But if the market in Bitcoin is breaking its 2023 bull market, you need to be very careful with this upcoming month. We do have the federal rate on the 10th. Do I think it's probably going to shock the market? Probably not. What I do see is inflation is going to be coming back because there's no rates to hold down inflation. Unemployment is going to spike. And it's not a bad thing, guys. I know a lot of other YouTubers are going to be like, the market's crashing, Guys, we need a market reset. We've had a bull market for 2.5 years. We have to. Unless if you want another 1979 or 2008, we have to have recessions now. We have to. We have to cut rates. If we don't, we will crash the market. And why would we crash the market when the market is going into the next stage of evolution? And what do I mean by that? When Trump came in office in 2018, something like that, guys, look at the market now. From 2003 to 2026, we are in a totally different area. So the Santa Claus rally, the stuff like that, hitting gaps is not a thing now. We don't, guys, if you're trading like, and I had someone, I think, I can't remember who, if you're like, well, we have gaps above us, we need to go hit. Guys, I'll pull up just an indicator I used to use like a long time ago. Guys, there is tons of gaps. I'm talking about, I don't even know how to explain this. Look how many gaps we have. If you're trading with gaps, stop. If you're trading off of news, stop. Use your moving averages, learn basic economics, stuff like that. You'll go far and far in the market, I'm telling you, because we're in 2026 now. So just be very careful with this upcoming week, because if Bitcoin's crashing, that's kind of a dead giveaway where we're going to go. If you have a lot of the Mega 7 pushing down to its 200 moving average, you're probably going to see 546 coming very soon in the triple Qs.